Hello, good morning, brothers and sisters. Happy to be here today. Happy to have you guys join me. As always, as mothers of the land, sisters of the land, daughters of the land, we always want more for our motherland. We know that we are capable of more. We know that we can have more. We know um, that the universe has really positioned us to have more. But are we ready to have more? Are we ready to have more? Are we ready to claim our rightful positions? Are we ready to do exactly what is needed to get this work done? All right. Welcome. Please help me to share, like, subscribe, subscribe, um, share this information because we need to set up a nation where our young ones, our youths can thrive. We need to set up an environment where our children will dream of their future and it will come to pass, just like anybody else, because we are capable. We're capable of getting this work done. Like I said, we are sent to overseas for a time like this. So let me start with our topic today. Please continue to help me to share, which says that rules-based order is a lie. Rules-based order is a lie. So Africans and Africa must rethink the global order and reclaim their sovereignty. You guys know that in our show here, we've been talking about Nigeria and the sovereignty that we never had, the one that was hijacked and given to the caliphate to use us as a pinball to make create wealth for themselves while the rest of the people suffer. So we know that they don't really care about us. This world that we live in is run by people who see humans as resources to exploit. We have seen it in the recent days of Epstein file and what is going on, how they are willing to go to any length. Just a moment, brothers and sisters, just a moment. I'm not sure what's going on. If you can, if you can still hear me, please let me know. I'm not really sure what's going on. It's showing on my side that that it needs to be connected. So hopefully the connection is back. So I will continue. I will continue and see if the connection is back. Hopefully it is. All right. So as I was reading before, the internet rudely interrupted my discussion. I was saying earlier about how these people have taken us for granted While the world suffer, they are making a kill. They pretend to care about humanity. Then when we take a closer look, it reveals action always serving their agenda. They give us phone to connect, but we know they're using the phone to monitor us. They're exposing us to radiation, as well as other hidden harms. They give us technology and so-called civilization, but at the cost of our environment, our health, and even the integrity of our DNA is being compromised. We see higher crises in fertility issues, mental health decline, and chronic disease everywhere. So the question is clear. How long will we allow this exploitation, and when will we take power to protect our lives, our communities, and our future? Because we can see nobody's coming. Some of us are praying to Christ to come. We know that he's not coming. He has not attempted to come, even during slavery when time was even worse. That Jesus didn't even care to come down once and cause hurricane and cause some type of chaos so that the ship that is taking our people out of the continent will sink and capsize. No, he allowed it to go on for so many years. So nobody is coming. And once we have this understanding, we'll be able to move forward. So one would ask, who writes the rules? Who write this through the so-called rule-based order? Who defines the global order? Who benefits from it? And who bears the cost? With all of this, they tend to be Christ-like. They told us that they look like Christ, they act like Christ. And yet we see that poverty is everywhere. People are suffering. Inequality persists. Their wealth is growing faster than our wages. Even their assets. As we are watching, there are more billionaires than we can ever think of in our lifetime. And frequently, financial markets will bless them with more returns. So why does this matter? Currently, we can tell there is rising global inequality. It's everywhere. It's harder for mothers to feed their kids nowadays. It's very difficult for Africa to benefit from any of this thing that is going on. Many African economies show GDP growth without any broad-based wealth distribution. As we are watching, there is a extractive industry generating revenue but limited employment. There is also informal economics that limits upward mobility and political capture by the so-called elite that reinforces wealth concentration. So there's a structural power imbalances everywhere. Our youth are unable to get on any type of employment. They are hoping, as the church leaders deceiving them, thinking that God is coming, something is going to happen, or worst of all, that their reward is in heaven. We've heard that so many times. So you can suffer all you want because the reward for you is in heaven, is not on this earth. So currently, the economic growth does not automatically translate to equitable development around us. There is still more sufferings going on with all the resources that we have around us. Okay. Then the next thing is the global wealth concentration, which I have somewhat mentioned before. Looking at the statistics, top 10% own approximately 75% of the global wealth. Top 10% own approximately 75 of the global wealth. This economic inequality leads to political influence inequality. Bottom 15% own approximately 2%. So pay attention, bottom 50% own approximately 2%. The richest 1% gained $33.9 trillion. since 2015. So with this wealth concentration, we can tell there's a distort in policy making. Every policy they're going to make will favor them to make more money. Wealth concentration is accelerating. And when this happens, even in America here, concentrated wealth weakens democratic accountability. We see the technocrats in the White House driving decisions, driving policies, deciding how it's going to be for every man and woman. So inequality is not just economic, it reshapes power structures. These things are important. Continue to help me to share. If you can hear me, make a comment. This slide is going slower than I want it to go. What are the key insights on inequality? There is economic system reward on capitalization, accumulation. There is wealth concentration, which increases political influence. Limited upward mobility for majority of the population. Concentration of wealth equals concentration of power. Africa, as we know, it produces world cobalt. There is gold, oil, gas, platinum, uranium deposits. We're talking about rare earth minerals that is critical for modern technology, agricultural potential, which as we watch remains underdeveloped, strategic trade that enhances wealth for other people except for Africa. So as we watch, Africa is not resource poor, but rather is value capture poor. We're not capturing the value of the resources that we have. I mentioned this earlier. Our wealth is, at least in terms of mineral wealth, is $29.5 trillion, approximately 20% of the global mineral reserves. Major supplier, like I mentioned before, of the rare earth minerals. And yet, we don't have resources to care for our young ones. We don't have hope for our young ones. And this must change. We are capable of turning these things around. Let's look at the value chain problems. The raw minerals are exported, processing and refining are done externally, and they will bring back the finished goods for us at a very high cost price. Jobs and profits captured elsewhere, leaving our youths unemployed. So the real wealth is not in extraction, but rather it is in transformation. So we must change the way that we think. We must think about our children at all times. I truly believe that everyone that is in power begin to think about our children and how we can leave this place better than we found it for them, how we can leave them opportunity for growth, how we can get them ready to participate and challenge others in international stage in every part of the world, using STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and math. I know that our children are very capable of doing this. And then the energy transition paradox. Currently, 70% of transition mineral are located in the global south. There is limited battery and advanced manufacturing in Africa, structural imbalances in value chains, riches and resources, but so much limited in industrialization. We know that debt is accumulated through infrastructure borrowing. When they do this, they depreciate our currency and increase our repayment burden. Refinancing risk rises with global interest rate. So when we own all of this, when they charge us all this money in terms of giving us loans, we know that our sovereignty is being reduced as we make this loan payment that that is cutting into our economy. What are some of the strategic resources that we are facing as a continent? The question one would ask is that why are they extracting without industrializing? Why are they exporting the jobs? We know that some of the deals that the so-called Nigerian government will have with Chinese people, they will even bring their workers. They will not use our youths, our graduates to do this work. And then when you look back, remember we're talking about rules-based order. You ask who controls the value chain? How can the value chain addition be localized? Because somebody set this up to go against us. Somebody wanted to make sure that they get to decide who wins or who loses. They want to make sure that they are the author and finisher of our fate, while some of us are busy looking for heaven to intervene. They are actually strategically intervening on our behalf every day, on our behalves every day. Just a minute. This slide is slow. It's trying to roll over to the next one. So the global financial architect is not neutral. He reflects power hierarchies. Again, they decide who lives and who dies. They decide if you are going to get a natural disaster. They decide if your economy is going to move forward. They decide if you are worthy of vaccine. And then they also decide that when they do bring the vaccine, they can bring the one that they want, right? We currently heard about Bill Gates' vaccine that they were injecting people in Kenya came with infertility. These things are intentional. Again, these are globalists wanting to decide again, who's going to live as a human being and who is not. So when they come in with their charity, beware, beware. We have come of age where we should be doing our own things at this point. I know it's complicated, but it can be done. So we talked about Africans rising public debt. We are all in trillions in public debt. Nearly half of the countries above 60% debt to GDP. Debt servicing crowds out development spending, of course. And all these things are intentional. Our sister in is it Cameroon, I can't think of the country now, was telling us how they don't give us enough money. Her husband is the president of the country. She was saying how they don't give us enough money to do anything for Africans. They take all the money. And these are our fellow men and women. And we are pretending like we are all the same when we have given them the power to emasculate us. Physical space is shrinking in all of this. So when you don't have money to do anything that is meaningful for the society, people are likely to keep it in their pockets. Like why even try, especially when we have criminals in charge. When we have criminals in charge. When we look at export earnings and debt service, approximately 14.8 of the export earnings go to debt repayment, up from 4.5% a decade ago. This reduces our ability to invest domestically, right? So if we don't have the money to take care of ourselves domestically, we are forced to pay approximately 14.8 for debt repayment. And when this happens, our financial vulnerability increases. We are not able to do what we need to do for our people. And we're in 2026, watching all of this as a movie while our children suffers. Our children suffer. Technology empowers, but ownership determines who benefits most. So even when they give us technology, this we are not we are not the owners of it. The technology belongs to them, where they can monitor us when they want to. They can do uh, I don't know, they can tweak whatever because they are the owner of this technology. So let's connect the pattern of this rule-based order that is a lie, that have left Africa scrambling to take care of their young. As we are looking, wealth concentrates upwards, resources flow outward, repayments or debt payments flow outward. Structural vulnerability persists. This is ongoing as we watch. And if these things are not reversed, our people will continue to suffer. I spoke about technology before. The connectivity and the innovation belongs to them. They expand the market access where they want it to be. They collect data and surveillance, like I mentioned before, and they increase our mental health disorder and social impact on our people. You think anyone is talking about this? No, they don't care because, again, at the end of the day, like I mentioned at the intro, it's all about what they can extract. They don't view humans as humans, but rather as some entity that they can um, extract money from. They make us to be digitally dependent on them. All of these things is a problem for Africans' growth. So let's look at some critical reflection about all of this. Are we creators? Are we consumers? Currently, we are consumers. Are we shaping technology or shaped by technology? We are shaped by technology. Some people are, they don't even have a life outside of the social media. That's all they do morning till night. We know that this social media is very addicting. We know that our, even here, according to studies, people are more depressed. According to a new study that came out, they say we are more connected and yet more separated. There's a digital divide. Some people still don't have access about on all of this, and then the few that do have access, they are struggling with all kinds of issues. What are the some of the internal challenges? There is a governance gap in Africa as we speak. There is corruption. In a place like Nigeria, there is a fraudulent 1999 constitution that was not made by the people, but rather by the few who is using their instrument of hell to continue to steal from the people without any accountability. Some of the other internal challenges are fragmentation and division, as well as weak institutional framework. And these things are set up by design. They are not accidental. So the idea is that while we run in circles, the colonialists will continue to take what they want to take unabated, because you have to be settled in order for you to start thinking, what do I need to do to move things forward? So they have us chasing our tails. They have us in a hamster wheel. We keep rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling, but we go nowhere. We're in the same spots. So if we want to have a mental and intellectual liberation, we must start thinking critically. Our ancestors were able to do this. They were able to discern who is their enemy. They were able to discern that people are coming to use them. And they were able to come together as one to fight a common enemy. In terms of media, there must be media literacy because everyone is online, posting and doing whatever they need to do because we have to make money. But in the long run, no one is asking, how is this going to impact my community? How is this going to impact the rest of the people? What do I need to do to make money without destroying those around me? And then we must teach our people economic literacy, which I know they do have. They do have, we just have to tune it up to a point where it would be beneficial not just to the person, but the community. I am all about community well being. If I'm doing good and my sisters and brothers are not doing good, then I'm not doing good. We have to create that type of atmosphere, that type of thinking, so that we should be able to tell ourselves that we are not in competition with each other, but rather that we are working in unison with each other to reach one common goal. And what is that common goal? The wellness of our community. And of course, there must be a civic awareness. Sorry about this. This slide is taking its time once again. And then when we come to economic sovereignty, we must talk about industrialization and manufacturing, agricultural independence, intra-African trade expansion, local value addition strategy. So instead of building churches, we should be building industries to employ our youths. We should be building opportunities for our children to gain some type of independence from their parents, for them to be able to see life as something worth living again. So Africa has the youngest population. At least they have agreed, finally, they've agreed we have something with a higher number than anybody else. So the youth population can be a dividend if we want it to be, or it can be a liability. STEM education is essential, like I mentioned before, for competitiveness. Venture funding remains limited locally. Diaspora capital can drive these developments, especially those of us out there. We can help our brothers and sisters start up something and help them with it, not just give them money and walk away, but mentor them and make sure that money is used in a good way and they are able to use it to elevate themselves. So the future depends on how youth energy is directed. If we have investment in skills and research, that will help them. If we have technology creation versus consumption, that will help them. We must be strategic in making these moves. Like I said, these things are not hard. If we don't know how to do it, we can Google it, copy and paste it. We can Google it from where it has worked before and copy and paste it for our people. What are the institutional strengths? We must have transparent governance. That's why Ninas is fighting night and day for that constitutional reconfiguration, where we have to drop something that is not working and make it something that is workable by the people that have to live within that nation. There must be rule of law, education and research investment, long-term development plan. But all of this, none of this can move forward without, first of all, repudiating that 1999 constitution and making sure that we go through referendum so that our people will finally have a choice to decide what they want instead of what the colonial rules left for them. So what are the core strategic questions? What are we what are we building in response? How do we reduce structural vulnerability? How do we increase value capture? How do we build unity? Again, these things are not far-fetched. I think we have suffered enough that we would not mind coming together to get to build something that we'll be proud of. I know that our people are very intelligent and there is nothing that they want to do that they cannot do. So what is the vision for Africa that we seek? There must be ethical and accountability leadership. There must be economic independence, technological sovereignty, unity beyond tribe and division, dignity-centered development. Because when we do this, institution can help us to create stability. And when we do that, stability will attract prosperity. We have the resources, people. Nobody is coming to save us. And finally, Closing reflection. System change when people change. We must learn how to have discipline over reaction, production over dependence. The future must be built intentionally with the mindset that we must leave this universe better than we saw it for our children. And last but not least, there must be a unity over division, because all of this, when it's done, the next generation will inherit something big, something that they can be proud of, something that will put them in a better position to lead a different life. Until next time, brothers and sisters, I'm trying to make sure this doesn't go over 30 minutes. Thank you and have a nice day. Please help to share, like, and subscribe.